Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I will discuss about after end of this sessions what we will create. So friend, we'll develop one complete multi-authentication system with using that Laravel Jetstream, and for now we are using Laravel's latest version as a 9.7.0 and my PHP version as 8.1. So into our database there have the two type of table. One is the user table, another is the admin table. So from here you can create some of the user. If you go to our project, over here we install that Laravel Jetstream. How to install that Laravel Jetstream? If you want to create some of the register user, so that is our registered URL. From here you can create some of the new user as per your demand. Okay, so now if you want to log in with the user, so that will be as a logging page. And to the logging, right now if you want to access our user logging, like I have already created some of the user. If you go, you can see the user@gmail.com and they have on the password. And here if you want to pass your appropriate email address, like as a user@gmail.com and password udemy12345. Now if you click as a logging, right now you are successfully able to log in, and you can see it's display as a hi user. So now that is display which user is logging username. And also from here if you want to upload some of the images, there is a profile. Now you can see there is a profile images, how to upload some of the images. I will also show you that things with the live example. And now from here if you want to log out, so right now it will be returned direct to our home page. Now if you want to, that is our login page, that is for the user logging. And if you want to access our admin logging, if you click as admin/logging, now that should be loaded another logging page. You can see there is another logging page. So here if you put your admin name, that means in our database table there is another table I have created as a admin. Now there is admin name as a admin, email admin@gmail.com, and password as a password. So now I want to access it, that will be as admin@gmail.com, password as a password. If you put appropriate password, now click as a login. Here you can see right now it's successfully returned direct to the admin dashboard. Okay, and it's display as a hi admin. So when you successfully logging with the admin, you are not able to access our user dashboard. How to protect it I will also show you. Like you say, you are not able to logging. Okay, you are not able to access our user dashboard. Like right now if you go to that admin dashboard, so that is our admin dashboard. Perfect. And now from here if you click as a logout, now you can see successfully log out. If you want to access our default logging page, and here if you put inappropriate, like I want to log in with the admin email address as admin@gmail.com, password as a password. Now you should be successfully get our credential. You can see it successfully get that credential. Great. And now here only you have to use that our appropriate username as a user@gmail.com, password udemy12345. Now logging, you are able to successfully logging as a hi user. Okay, and when you successfully logging by the user, you are able to access our user dashboard. But right now I'm logging with the user. If you want to access our admin dashboard, how to protect this URL with using that middleware, I will also show you, like as a admin/dashboard. Now if you want to access it, now you can see it's successfully returned direct to the admin dashboard. Okay, how to protect it I will show you. And now if you go to the logout, now if you want to access our admin login, okay, admin logging, and from to the admin logging you can see now new logging is loaded. And here if you put your admin, not admin, I want to use that as a user. Okay, and that means inappropriate email address and password udemy12345. click as a logging, you are not able to log in. You can see it's not successfully get that credential. That is not appropriate, not match in our record. Here if you want to access with our admin logging, you have to use that appropriate admin email address and password. I make it as a password. Now if you click as a logging, when both of this will be done, then you are able to access our admin dashboard. So how can create this type of one of the multi-authentication system with using Laravel Jetstream, and right now I'm using Laravel latest version as a 9.7. How to work in there, and also for our every lecture I push this code to the GitHub. You will get all that lecture by lecture code. So I hope you will like it very much. So if you're ready, then let's get started. Hello friend, welcome back. In this session, I will discuss about how can create that multi-authentication system with using Laravel, one of the package as a Jetstream package, and we'll develop it with using Laravel latest version as a Laravel 9. Okay, so how can do this work step by step? I will show everything with the live example. For doing this, first of all, there is a Laravel official website. If you go to that Laravel ecosystem, Laravel by default using that Breeze, rather than you can also use another authentication system as a Jetstream. So how to create that multi-authentication with the Jetstream? It's very interactive, one of the things. In this session, step by step, I will show you everything with the live example. For install the Jetstream, first of all, we have to create one of the Laravel project. So if you want to create that Laravel project, simply go to the documentation, and into the documentation, Laravel latest version as a 9. Okay, here for the installing that 9, that your main things will be needed. You have to update your PHP version. So right now I'm using that XAMPP. I'm using XAMPP as a 3.3.0. So that is very basic. I hope you already know about it. Simply install that local server and make that sure you run your Apache, and you make that sure you run your MySQL. Okay, so both of these will be needed. When you install that XAMPP, then you are able to access your local host. If you go to that your local host, simply go to that local host. If you go to that PHP info, now you can see right now my PHP version as 8.1.2. so that is the latest version right now I am using. You can also use that PHP 8.0 because Laravel 9 required this. Okay, so make that sure you updated your PHP version, which is totally fine. And also there is a PHP my admin. If you go to that PHP my admin, so here that is actually the same things. Better I close it. Now you can see there is a PHP my admin, and here that is our all the database things. So I will create another database later. First of all, I want to create another project. So if you want to install it, like they have so many options, getting started with the Mac, Windows, Linux, sales services, and via the Composer. I want to install that Laravel via the Composer. If you click it, now you can see that is a command line we have to run. So before run that Composer create project, make that sure you have to install that Composer. Simply go to that Composer as a getcomposer.org, and from here right now that is one of the dependency manager, and latest version they are using as a 2.3.3. From here, if you go to the download, and you can install it via the command line. Okay, you can install it via the command line. Rather than I will recommend it, simply go to that Windows installer, there is a download and run composer setup.exe. Simply click it in here. It will be downloaded one of the exe file and install it in your system. And after install that composer, if you want to check it, simply go to any command prompt. I have already installed it. If you run with the composer and then the V, click as enter. Now that will be get all that your Composer details. You can see I have already installed that Composer. Right now I am using that version 2.2.7, which is totally fine. So if you are using that old version, if they have some of the command line as a Composer V for checking your version. If you want to update it, then that is another one as a Composer self update. Rather than you can also use it only the Composer update. And if you want to redirect it to 1 to the 2 version, then you have to write down as a Composer self update and version 2. And if you want to go back to your again 1 version, then you have to write down as a Composer self update and then roll back. So that is simple, some of the command line. Rather than as I told you, simply download it, install it, that will be installed in your system. Okay, so it's very easy, one of the software. Make that sure you install that Composer. And also another things will be needed as a Node.js. Make that sure you install that Node.js, that is a nodejs.org, because here we'll install some of the external package. All the package will be installed in here. So that is a Node.js will be needed. And here you can see that is a recommended for most user as a 16.14.2, and right now their current version as a 17.8.0. So I will recommend it to download this part. So when you click it in here, automatically that will be install one of the software. It's totally free, and install that Node.js in your system. That is simply next by next process that Node.js will be installed in your system. If you want to check it is Node.js in installer or not, simply run another one. Like you can also do that things in here, or rather than I close it, open any command prompt. I open that command prompt, and when you install it, if you search, if you write down as a node and then V, if it's installed successfully, then that will be display as a version name. So right now I am using that Node.js version as a 16.13.0. So make that sure you install that Node.js, make that sure you install that Composer. So that is the two of these things will be needed first. Okay, so I have already installed that Node.js, I have already installed that Composer. Great. Now I want to create one of the project. So if you want to create it right now in our local host, okay, I have already installed that XAMPP into the local host, that is htdocs. As you already know, that is one of the main root directory of your local server. So if you want to create this project in your desktop, that's totally fine. So, but right now I'm to install it in our local host. In our htdocs here, I want to open with the cmd. Now there is a command prompt is running, and here I want to install our Laravel. If you want to go, I want to create another new project. I copy it, and now here I want to paste it. Okay, so here there is a htdocs. Right now we don't need this. I close it. Now there is a htdocs. Here I simply paste it. Sorry, so better now I copy it, and now I want to paste it. Now you can see there is a composer, create project, Laravel, and that will be your project name. So right now I want to create one of the project, whatever the name actually you choose. Right now for education purpose I name it as a Jet, okay, Jet Auth. So this type of one of the project I want to create. So if you want to create it, simply click as a enter. Now that will be created one of the folder name as a Jet Auth. Here that will be created one of the folder, okay, in particular that positions. Now that will be created one of the folder as a Jet Auth. Now here you can see it's now created one of the folder name as a Jet Auth. So friend, it may take little time, okay, it may take little time. Make that sure you are connected with the internet, so it will be download all that file from to the internet. So it may take little time. Better when it will be done, then I'll come back again. Here you can see, friend, our Laravel project installed successfully. Okay, it's downloaded all that file from to the internet, and now it's successfully installed. Great. So our project is created. I have already put that name as a Jet Auth. Now if you go, you can see there is a download all that file from to the internet. And now our next process we have to change that directory. Okay, we have to change that directory to our project name, and then we have to run as a PHP artisan serve. Let's do that work. For doing this, right now we are into that htdocs. So that is our htdocs, and from to the htdocs we have to go to that our folder name, that is our project folder name as a Jet Auth. Right now I want to simply go there by the cd, that means the change directory, and our project name as a Jet Auth. Right, so that is our project name. I have named it as a Jet Auth. So that is a Jet Auth. Now if you click as a enter, now you can see it's redirected to our another folder as a Jet Auth. Right now that is our project, and now if you want to access our project, we have to run with the PHP artisan and then serve. Okay, that is will be as a PHP artisan serve. If you now click as enter, now that will be give you one of the development server link. So that is our development server link. I copy it, and now I want to access our project. If you click as enter, now you can see Laravel installed successfully. How much easy it is. Right now I am using that Laravel's latest version as a 9.7 and my PHP version as a 8.1.2. So that is our total Laravel project. If you want to do for this project, I want to use that Sublime text editor. First of all, I want to take our folder. I want to take this project in our Sublime text editor. Simply take it. Yeah, perfect. Right now that is all that Laravel default file. Right, and that is our config file into the that is our bootstrap file, that is our app, all that our HTTP in fundamental. I have already discussed about that things with you. That is a controller, all that your controller will be saved in here. That is our middleware, right, and that is our route. So that is our route as a web route. Great. So right now our Laravel project is now successfully created. In our next video, I want to install Laravel another package as a Jetstream package, because we will develop one of the multi-authentication system with using that Laravel Jetstream package. That is a packages, and here you can see there is a Jetstream package. So how can you install it? In our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, here we successfully installed Laravel latest version, Laravel 9.7.0. Right, my PHP version is 8.1.2. Now you can see they have no authentication because I didn't install any authentication. So if you want to install that authentication in Laravel, they have a different type of package. You can install the Breeze, rather than you can also install that Jetstream. So that is all that default authentication system. That means your authentication will be ready-made. You can log in with your user, you can register it, you can add that forget password, reset password, everything will be ready-made. Okay, so right now I want to do for creating that multi-authentication system, I want to use Jetstream. So if you go to that Jetstream, then it will be return redirect to the Jetstream Laravel. Okay, here it will be return redirect, and from here now I want to install it. So if you go to that install, first of all we have to run as a composer required Laravel Jetstream. Okay, when you install it, it will be created some of the file. So that is our all the default file. So it will be created some of the default file in here. So that is our database. That is a migrations by default that have some of the table. Now that will be created some of the file in our app. It will be created some of the file in our config folder. Okay, here it will be created some of the file. Step by step I will show you. Like first of all, I want to do by default they have one of the model as a user model. Now I want to install it. So if you want to install it, simply copy it. Okay, copy it. And now our project. I have already run our project with the PHP artisan serve. That is our project name, right? Now I want to go to our project. So that is our project folder, and into the project folder here I want to install it, right? So if you want to install, simply go to that CMD, and now I want to install it. I simply paste it. That will be the composer required Laravel Jetstream. I want to install that Laravel Jetstream package. If you now click as the enter, now it will be downloaded all that file from to the internet. Make that sure you are connected with the internet. So it may take little time. Better when it will be done, then I will come back again. Here you can see, friend, our Laravel Jetstream installed successfully. Great. So it's now successfully installed, and after that we have to also install Laravel Liveware. Okay, so now I want to copy it, the PHP artisan Jetstream install Liveware. I copy it. Now again I want to install another one, so that will be the PHP artisan Jetstream install Liveware. Now click as enter. It will be also installed successfully. You can see the migration created successful, and also it may take little time. Better when it will be done, then I will come back again. Here you can see it's also successfully installed. Laravel Liveware is successfully installed into the Composer JSON is updated. Great, everything is look like perfect. And after that, now we have to install npm install, and also you have to run as a npm run dev. So that is the two different type of command, but you can run it at a time. Okay, so for install it, make that sure, as I told you before, you have to install that node.js. Now that is our packages, all the things I want to access it. So I want to install it, I copy it, and then I paste it. So that will be the npm install and npm run dev. Now I want to also install it. I simply click as enter. So friend, it's also take little time. Okay, so that is all the packages. So it will be installed, and it will be created on one of the folder as a node in here. So better when it will be done, you can see it's now installing. So it may take a little time. When it will be done, then I will come back again. Here you can see, friend, it's now successfully installed, and now that is a build successfully. So if everything okay, then that will be displayed this type of one of the message, and also you can see there is a compiled successfully done. It successfully created the JS, app.js, and then app CSS, and that is a web package compiled successfully. So make that sure is installed successfully, rather than you will get some of the error as a minifix type of one of the error. Okay, if they have any issues, if you find out some of the error as a minifix type of error, then just simply reinstall it again. Right now my npm dev is successfully installed. Okay, it's perfect. So as I told you, friend, when you install that Jetstream, so that's all you have to do for installing that Jetstream. Right now everything should be work. When you install the Jetstream, they have some of the file. For now, I want to show you what exactly the new file is added in your Laravel project. Like into the app, okay, into this app, you can see it's now created one of the actions folder. Here they have another folder as a Fortify create user. They have some of the file is generated, and also Jetstream, the delete user, it will be generated. Okay, so it will be generated some of the file in here, and also if you go to that HTTP, and there is a middleware, and here it's also created some of the middleware. There is a default some of the middleware it will be created, and in the provider area also it will be created as a fortified service provider, Jetstream service provider. Some of the provider will be added in particular that area. So that is all the default file. Okay, just I simply explain what exactly the new file is added. Laterally will also work in particular that positions, like into the config area it will be added some of the file as a Jetstream.php. It will be added another one as is centum.php, fortify.php. Okay, it will be created some of the file. It will be automatically added in our config folder. Perfect. It's successfully installed. There is a migration. They have also is created some of the new table as a two-factor table. You can see they have some of the default table. Right now when you install that Jetstream will be also added some of the table. Great. All the table will be saved into the migration area, and also in our route. Into the route, now it will be created another route. If you go to that web route, by default you can see now that is created this type of one of the route. It's using that middleware as a auth, as a symptom middleware, and there is a config Jetstream auth section, and that is the verified. It means that in our config folder, if you go to that config folder, into the config, as I told you, it will be added some of the file. You can see there is Jetstream, so that is a Jetstream, and into the Jetstream there is also another one as auth section. If you go to that Jetstream, into the Jetstream, here you can see there is a auth section. So into the auth section, there is a authenticated session class. So that is one of the default file. You can see there is a Laravel, and that is in our vendor Laravel framework, and in particular that position there is an authenticated session file. If you open it, and that is our authenticated session file. Okay, so that is all the default file. I simply show you what exactly the things actually. You can see there is a logout functionality, there is a guard functionality. Right now there is a new things is added in Laravel 9, which is totally fine. There is a config folder, and now web, that is perfect. When everything will be done, it will be returned direct to the /dashboard, and it will be return one of the view page as a dashboard. Okay, view page dashboard means if you go to the resources, into the view area, also now that should be created some of the folder, like it will be created around the auth folder, and they have some of the file as a logging file, registration file, forget password file. Okay, that is all that view file will be created. And in our logout, there is app, and then guest, profile, and you can see it's now created some of the dashboard.blade. It's now created on the navigation menu.blade, policy, and then term. So when you install the Jetstream, it will be generated some of the file in here. By default, when you install the Laravel, that is one of the welcome page. Okay, so now we have to configure our database. We have to create one of the database, and we have to configure this database, then we have to migrate. Then everything will be run successfully. So I can do this work in our next video. I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully installed Jetstream, right? Here we successfully installed it. Right now, if you refresh this page, now you can see it's now getting some of the error as an unknown database Laravel. I didn't create any database. Now we have to create one of the database. Now that is our PHP my admin. Into the PHP my admin, now to create on the new database table as a jet auth. Okay, so this type of one of the database I simply created, and now I want to make it as a general CI. Now click as a create. Our database is created successfully. Now we have to add that database, right? We have to use this database. I simply copy our database name. So that is our copy. I copy this database name, and now if you go to your project, we have to set up it in our .env file. So into the .env, you can see that is our database name. That will be as a Jetstream. I simply add that our database name. My by default username as a root, and I don't have any password. So it depends on your XAMPP. Like if you go to your database area, like I go to my main page, and if you go to that user accounts, and with the user accounts, you can see my username as a root, host name as a local host, and password. Right now I don't have any password. For the reasons here, I name it as a root, as a username, and I don't have any password. So that's all you have to do. Now our configuration is successfully done. We successfully created on the database, and also we configure it in our project. And after that, we have to migrate it. Okay, like here I want to migrate. So when you migrate, then it will be generated. That means there is some of the table. If you go to the database migration, so you can see there is some of the default table. All the table now should be added in our database that I have created. If you go to the database, I have created the database name as a JDauth. Here it will be generated everything. Like I show you, if you now run at the PHP artisan and migrate. Now if you click as the enter, now all that our database should be created successfully. You can see it's now successfully created all that our database table. Now if you go our database and refresh it, now all the table should be added. Yeah, you can see there is all the table is added. There is a user by default on the table. And now if you refresh our project, now that should be executed. Yeah, you can see it's perfect. Now there is a logging and there is a register. If you go to that logging page, Now you can see that is our Jetstream default login page design, and if you go to the register, so that is all be our register page. Great. That means we successfully able to create that database. We are successfully able to migration this database table, and our total Jetstream is successfully installed into the Laravel. So here our total Jetstream is successfully installed into the Laravel. So in our next video, I want to discuss about some of the default, all that file structure. Okay, how that things exactly working. I want to show you everything, and then step by step we'll develop one complete multi-authentication system with using that Jetstream. I hope you will like it very much. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, we successfully installed Laravel default authentication system as a Jetstream, right? Where we successfully done this job. Right now we don't need this. Also we migrate all that our database table, that is one of the table as a user. Now you are able to register one of the new user. If you go to our project, and also from now I will push all that code to the GitHub. Now you are get a lecture by lecture all that code. I hope it will help you a lot. Okay, so I will push all that code to the GitHub, which is totally fine. And now that is our project. So here now I want to register another new user. As I told you, that is a default. Here you don't need to create anything, everything is ready-made. Okay, like I want to register another new user, and I just name it as a user, and I use that name as one of the email address as a user@gmail.com, and password I make it as udemy12345 and udemy12345. Great. Now I want to register one of the new user. Click as a register. Yeah, you can see how much easy it is. Everything is ready-made. So right now we are successfully logging by the name as a user. If you now go to our database, now that should be one of the new user. Click as a browse. Now you can see ID one, I name it as a user, email address is visible, password is automatically one of the Bittrip password. Everything is in here. Okay, everything is in here. Now if you go, there is also one of the menu as a user, and there is a profile and the logout. From here, if you want to log out, it will be successfully redirect to the logout. Okay, and also if you now click as a logging, I have already created one of the user as a user@gmail.com and password udemy12345. Now if you click as a logging, right now we are successfully logging. Okay, everything is ready-made. Now if you go to that user, and there is a profile page. Okay, they have also one of the default profile page, and from to the profile you can see there is a profile information. If you want to change that name, you can change it. You can change that email address. So friend, don't worry, in project how to customize our total things I will also cover it. Like right now there is this update password option, there are new password, the confirmation password, there is enable two-factor authentication, you can enable it, and there is a browser session. If you logging with our another browser, it's automatically will be displaying here. If you want to delete this account, you can delete it. So that is default, all that things. So it's actually comes from, as I told you, when you install the Jetstream, it's actually provided some of the file. Right, if you go to the config, into the config there is a file name as a 45. So into the 45 here, there are some of the things, like you can see there is a features for the registration, features for the reset password, features for the update profile information, and also update password. So if you want to make it as a comment out, like I make it as a comment out for the update password. Now if you click as a save all, and now our update password, that means here that will be not display. If you now click as a refresh, now you can see it's totally gone. That means right now everything actually comes from our which file, that is our 45, and from here that is all that our features. Okay, right now I'm going to enable that features as a update password. Now click as a save all, and then that should be display. Click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see it's again display. And also there is enough profile information here. If you want to display the images, so that is another features, that the another features is comes from the config. And if you go to the Jetstream, and from to the Jetstream there is also another features. You can see there is another features for the teams and the privacy policy, profile photo, API, and the team. Now I want to update our profile photo. Like here I open it, I make it as a comment out. Now that should be display. Click as a save all. Now that should be display another field in here for the profile. Yes, you can see it's now successfully displayed. By default, they are using that character avatar. By default, my first name as a user, for the reasons it's now getting that one of the user. So if you want to change that image, like I show you, they have some of the issues. I will solve it. Like I want to check some of the picture. Okay, I will simply take some of the picture from here, like for education purpose I use it. Now picture is successfully uploaded, but right now if you click as a save, now you can see this picture is broken. It's broken because of all here that should be also updated, in particular that position that is also broken. Like if you copy that image, that means I want to copy, and like from here I copy image address. If you go and if you paste it, now you can see it's now running into the local host, and there is a storage and then the profile photo. Here we have to do, first of all, change that our name. Right now we are running our project, our port name, that is our port name, right? I want to copy it. Now we have to update in our env. If you go to our project, into the project.env, here you can see our app URL right now default using as a local host, but right now we are using that http 127.0.0.1, right? So that is our port. I make the sure here that should be not slash. I simply remove it. Now if you click as a save all, again I want to check it. Now I want to refresh it. Okay, I refresh it, and I copy that image address and then I paste it. Okay, here I paste it. Now you can see our that is updated, right? That is updated, but there is a storage is not getted. For this reason our image is not displayed. Here if you want to update that storage, we have to also install one of the storage link. I show you when you install that storage link automatically in the public, it will be created one of the shortcut key. I want to first of all install it. Like that is our project, and that is our project appropriate project. Here I want to install as a PHP artisan, and then storage link. Okay, I simply click as enter. Now you can see that a link has been created. Now if you go to your project, you can see it's now created one of the storage folder, and that is our public photo, and that is our photo I have uploaded. Right now that should be accessible. If you now click as enter, yes, you can see our photo is now accessible. Now that should be also displayed in here. Now click as a refresh. Yes, it's successfully displayed. That is also successfully displayed. If you want to remove this image will be gone. If you select one of the new image, like right now I choose my image is successfully loaded. I save it. Now that should be displayed in here, and also it's successfully displayed in here. Great. And now if you go to our dashboard, so how all that things exactly work. When you successfully log in, then it's return redirect to the /dashboard, right? I show you what exactly the things is happening behind this. If you go to our root, and that is our web PHP. Simply friend, understand all that file structure, then that will be very easy to you. Like if you go to our web.php, when you install that Laravel Jetstream, it's created one of the default route. You can see there is using one of the default middleware as auth Centum middleware, and there is a config Jetstream auth section. As I told you before, that is in our config folder. There is a Jetstream one of the file, and there is our auth section, right? So that is our config, and then there is our Jetstream, and that is one of the file as a auth section. So that is the authenticated session is responsible for this. So here it's successfully loaded. Okay, so now if you go in our web, now you can see there is a config, and that is a verified one of the group function. When everything will be done, when user is successfully done, that will be returned direct one of the route as a /dashboard. Right now when you successfully done, you can see there is a /dashboard, and that is the /dashboard. One of the view page is loaded. There is a return view one of the dashboard page. That means if you now go to our resources, into the resources area, here you can see that have one of the view, and with the view, and that is the dashboard. So by default, that is one of the live using that liveware, and liveware there is one of the dashboard is loaded, and there is one of the text. Okay, here you can see that is this part is one of the div, and there is also another dashboard. If you want to remove it, like here I want to simply remove that part. Okay, that is if you select it, you can see that is ended in here. I simply remove it. I make it as a this is the new page. I name it as this is the new page. So that type of one of the message now that should be displayed. Click as a save all. Now if you go, that should be gone. Click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see now that is displayed. This is a new page. And that is our dashboard. Here if you also want to change it, then that is one of the navigation. You can see that is one of the navigation. So if you want to access that navigation, that is in our which place, that is into the view, and here you can see there is a navigation menu. So that is the navigation menu is loaded. There is a dashboard text, and there is an authenticated user card and name is visible. The setting, everything is in here. Okay, you can see there is a manage account. If you want to also display that, there is actually a logout is working. Okay, everything actually comes from particular that page. And if you want to display that authenticated user name, you can also display it. Like here into the dashboard, I want to do and to display, I remove it, I make it as a high, Now if you click as a save all, now that should be changed, the name, it should be as a high. Refresh it. Yeah, you can see it's now successfully displayed as a high. Here I want to display which user is logging. User logging name I want to display. If you go to our database, and that is our user and our field name as a name, I want to display this name. If you want to display it here, they have also the command lines, the same command I copied. Now in our dashboard, after that high, I name it as auth. Auth is one of the default middleware. By this it should be checked that user is logging or not. If this user is logging user name field I want to visible. Okay, now that should be displayed the name. If you click as a save all, now our name, I name it as a user. Now that should be displayed as a user. Now click as a refresh. Now you can see it's now displayed as a high user. So as I told you, that is all that our file. So that is file in our view, and that is a dashboard, navigation dashboard, privacy. Okay, and also when you log out, click as a log out. Now you can see it's redirected to our main page. Go to that logging. So now that is one of the logging page. That is one of the forget password page. And also there is another one as a register. If you go to that register, so that is our register. Okay, that is a register page. So all that is a view page. That is actually comes from our which place, that is in our view, and that is our auth. Here you can see that is our logging page. So that is a logging default page. There is a register page. There is a forget password page. There is a confirm password. All that blade page. You can see that is all that our blade page. So here if you want to change anything, automatically that will be updated in here. So that is our register page. Register page is responsible for auth, and that is our register page. Here you can see there is a name field, email field, password, and then the confirmation password. The same things like name, email, password, and the confirm password. I hope friend you get some of the idea how Jetstream file structure actually works. So that is a pretty much basic all the things. I hope you like it very much. So from to the next video, we'll work for our multi-authentication system with using that Jetstream. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have already discussed about that things with you, Laravel default, Jetstream authentication, all that pages, how that things exactly set up. So that's all for the single user, right? By default, that will be as a single user. So now step by step, I will show you how can create that multi-authentication system. Like right now I'm logging with the user. Right now I want to create another route that will be as admin logging. When you select it as a admin logging, our another page, that means one of the logging page will be loaded, and from here if you put that admin email address, admin password, then that will be successfully logging. So how can do this work step by step? I will show you everything with the live example friend, and I hope you like it very much. Like for doing this, by default that is one of the table as user, right? When you install that Laravel, when you install Laravel Jetstream, we get some of the table, and by default one of the table as user. Now I want to create another table for the admin. So if you want to do this work, first of all we have to create one of the controller. I simply want to, that is our project as a jet auth. Here I want to create another new controller. So if you want to create this controller, I hope you already know that will be as a PHP artisan and make controller. And in our main page area, I want to create another new controller as an admin controller. Okay, that will be as an admin controller. There's a PHP artisan make controller as an admin controller. I simply created, click as enter. Now it will be created one of the controller created successfully. If you want to get that controller, that will be in our main controller, that is our app, and then the HTTP controller, and you can see that is our admin controller. Great. Right now we don't need this. I close it, and also close it. Perfect. And for the admin, I also want to do and to create another database table. right? Well, that will be just like our user. For if you want to create it, I want to use that is the eloquent ORM. So if you want to use that eloquent ORM, we have to create one of the model. If you want to create that model, that will be a PHP artisan and then make model. And I want to create one of the model name as the admin model, and also at a time I want to create one of the migrations table. Now that will be created two of this file. It will be created one of the model, and also it will be created one of the migrations table. You can also individually create that model. You can also individually create that migration. Everything that is very basic, everything you will get it into the Laravel official website. Now I want to click as enter. Now you can see it's now created one of the models successfully, and also it's created one of the migrations table. A migrations table, I name it as admins. Now if you want to find out both of these files that is in our models, you can see that is our admin model is successfully created, and also in our database, into the database there is a migration. Now there is a new migrations table is added as admins. Great. So as I told you friend, that will be just like our user. So better from to the user, I want to copy all that our field. Okay, better I copy everything from here, and now in our admin, into the admin area I want to paste it. So that will be all that our form here. That will be one of the database table name will be as admin, and our field name will be as a name, email verified, add the password, the current ID. So that will be just like our user. Okay, here I simply added all that field. Now we have to also update our model. If you go to our model, I want to copy everything from our user model. Okay, I copy everything. I simply copy everything, and now if you go to our admin, into this admin area, only we have to update that our class name. Right now I want to simply paste it. So here I paste it. Everything is great. Okay, everything is great. Only our model name will be as a admin. Okay, I name it as a admin. Great. And then auth user authenticable, so it's totally fine. Only I change that name as a admin, and field will be protected because I actually added all the same field. Right now everything is just like that same. Okay, everything will be just like that same, only I change that name. If you now click as a save all, now we are ready to migrate, because here I have already created one of the table, and that is all that our table field. I updated our model. Now I want to migrate. So if you want to migrate, then you have to do here right now, that will be as a PHP artisan and migrate. Right, so now if you click as a enter, now that will be migrate our admin table successfully. And now if you go to our database again, now that should be another new table as a migrate. Click as a admin. That means if you click as a refresh, you can see now there is a new table is added as admins, and into this admins table there is the same things. Our all that field will be just like our user. Right now I want to seed some of the data. Okay, here you can manually insert some of the data. Right now I want to seed some of the data from our backend. So if you want to seed this data, if you go to our project, right now we don't need this, and also we don't need this. If you go to that project, if you go to that database, and you can see there is a factory as a user factory, and also there is our seed data. First of all, I want to create one of the factory. So if you want to create this factory, simply go to Laravel official website, and from here if you go to that documentation, into the documentation that is our testing, into the testing you can see there is our database. If you select that as a database, and here that is our factory, you can see the factory states. From here you can actually create it. If you click into the factory states, so right now I want to create this type of one of the factory. So if you want to create it, that is actually our command line as a PHP artisan make factory, and that will be our factory name. Now I copy it and I want to update it, so that will be here. In particular that position I want to paste it. Sorry, I copy it and then I want to paste it. So that will be as a PHP artisan make factory. I want to create another new factory name as a admin. Okay, I name it as a admin factory. Now if you click as a enter, now it will be created another new factory as a admin factory. If you go to our project again, now you can see in our factory, now there is our new one as a admin. Great. So into the admin factory area here, that is some of the return data. Okay, return data means I want to push some of the data. If you go to our user factory, from to the user factory, right now you can see there is a return same things actually, that will be the just like that same. From to the definition, okay, from to the definition there is a return some of the things. I better copy it. I copy all that return data, I copy it, and now in our admin factory, in our return position, here I paste it, because our database field name as the same name. right? Now there is a name, that is email verified, password, they have some of the Bitrip password, it means that is a password. Okay, that means that is will be our password. On the Bitrip password, it will be store this data, and remember token will be as str random. First of all, I want to pass that name here in our field name, that means in our admin table there is a field name. In name here I want to insert the name I want to use, that will be not that faker name, I want to use static, one of the string value, I name it as admin. Okay, so that will be our admin name. And our email address here I also want to use some of the direct name. So the direct name will be as admin@gmail.com. so that will be stored in our email field area as admin@gmail.com. Great. And email verified will be now, which is totally fine. And our password field, into the password field area here, it will be stored some of the Bitrip password, and that is one of the Bitrip password, it means that is a password. Okay, perfect. So it will be stored this type of the Bitrip password, and remember token will be as str random 10 or str random 10. When you access it, that is one of the function as str. Also we have to load that str. If you go to our user factory, into the user factory, you can see that is a str. Better I copy it, and now here I simply want to use it as a str. Now our next step is we have to seed it, right? Into the seeder, there is another default file as a database seeder. I want to allocate that is one of the file, and here there is a class. Into this class area, by default one of the function as a run. That means when you seed it, which file will be executed. Each means which model will be executed. Here they have some of the node. I want to make it as a comment out, and I want to run our table name as a admin. For the admin, I have already created one of the model as a admin model, right? If you go to our models, into the model there is admin model, that will be executed. So that is in our app models, and then our model name, app models, and model name I name it as a admin. Okay, so that will be the admin, and factory 10 will be enough, and then that will be the create. Okay, so here I want to better make it only, I make it as empty. Okay, then that will be get all the data. Factory, it will be as a created. Great. So now we have to seed it. I click as a save all, and if you want to seed it, simply run our command line, and that will be as a php artisan and migrate, and then I want to seed. So I have already migrated, so now only you have to add that our seed data. Now if you click as a enter, artisan spelling mistake, so that will be the php artisan migrate, and I want to seed this data. Now click as a enter. Now you can see it's now display as a nothing to migrate, because I have already migrated our admin table, right? You can see our admin table is already in here. Now only I updated the database seeding completed successful. Now all that our data that I have already passed it from to this position, now that should be added in our table, in our admin table. If you now go to our admin table, refresh it, now you can see it's now successfully inside that data. There is a name, email address, there is a verified as a now date, and password. You can see this created one of the hash password, right? It's now successfully stored this data, so that means there is a password. Everything is great. So how to seed this data, how to create that admin table, I hope every process is very much clear to you. So from our next video, I want to create some of the guards, because that will be multi-authentication system. By default, Laravel using the guard name as a web. Now I want to create another guard for the admin. So how to do this work is step by step I will show you. I hope you will like it very much. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we are successfully seed some of the data in our admin table, right? So they have some of the demo data. Now I want to create the guard. As I told you, if you go to that Laravel, and here, as I told you, Laravel actually by default using one of the guard as a web guard. Right now we will create one of the multi-authentication system. So for the reasons here, we have to create another guard. Like right now we don't need this, and also we don't need this. If you go to the config, okay, into the config, that is one of the file as auth.php, and here you can see by default Laravel using one of the guard as a web guard. Right now that will be one of the multi-authentication system, so that will be default for the single user. Right now we'll create that multi-user, right? So for the multi-user, now we have to create another guard. So you can see there is a guard for the web. Now I want to create another one. Better I copy it, and then I want to do here, I paste it. So that will be name. I name it as a admin guard. Okay, that will be the admin, and our driver will be session and provider name. I want to provide another name. I just name that will be as a plural, so I make it as a admins. Okay, that will be the admins. Now I name that provider name as admins. Now we have to also create that provider. You can see that is a provider by default for the user. Now I want to create new one. I copy it, and after that I paste it. So that will be our provider name. I name that provider as admins. Now I simply take it as admins. Driver will be as eloquent, and model, I have already created one of the model for the admin, right? That is in our app models, and that will be our model name as admin. Now I want to use it as admin. Okay, that will be access our admin model. Make that sure you updated both of these. I updated that our guard, I updated that provider, and also there is a password option. Password reset here, that by default that is for the user. Now I want to create another new one. I paste it, and that will be our guard name. That means our provider name, I name it as admins, right? So that will be as admins, and for the admins our provider will be which one? Our provider will be as admins, and table will be password reset, expired will be 60. Everything will be just like that same. Okay, here I simply updated our auth in our config auth.php. I have updated everything. The rest of this will be just like that same. Here we don't need to change anything. Great. Now if you click as a save all, everything is great. So friend, now we have to understand how actually our default authentication system work. Our default authentication system, we have already checked it, right? In our logging, into the logging, our default authentication system is working. So I want to do the same things, right? So I want to do the same things. Our default authentication is working. If you go and right now, if you're using that sublink text editor, if you press that Control P, then from we can actually get this file. First of all, I want to run our route list. Okay, by default all that route list you will get, and in Laravel 9 that is they are updated that design. So if you want to get that route list, that will be the PHP artisan and then route, and then that will be the list. So if you run as a PHP artisan route list, all that our default route you will get. If you now click as enter, now you can see that is all that our default route. Okay, that is all the default route as a dashboard for where exactly it's working. There is a logging route, there is a logout route, there is a register route, proper reset password, everything is in here. So for the logging, which file is actually working? For the logging, in our logging Laravel 45 authenticated session controller create method is working for this. Okay, that create method is responsible for logging that user and store the data. That is also for the logging. You can see that is all route all that list, and there is one of the post method, and that is one of the get method. So that is responsible for a default user logging data. That is one of the controller as authenticated session controller and create. Now if you want to find out that file, here as I told you, simply press as a Control P, then you will actually be able to get all that file from here. So I want to search it with the authenticate. You can see that is a authenticated session controller. So into the authenticated session controller, that is into the vendor folder, Laravel 45 src http controller, and that is our authenticated session controller. So if you open it, that is the file is responsible for default user logging. You can see there is a create user, and there is one of the create method, there is a store method, and into the store method there is a logging pipeline, and there is a logging pipeline area. There have some of the you can see there have some of the function as an attempt to authenticate and the redirect two-factor authenticate. So both of these will be needed. Okay, here that is actually file. If you want to check it, I show you, like that is our guard, right? There is a guard. If you simply dd it, I read dd our this guard. Okay, I simply dd this guard. As I told you, by default Laravel using which guard? Using that web guard. In our auth.php, I have already discussed about that things with you. Now that will be more clear. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go our page, right now I'm log out, click as a refresh. Now you can see now that is a display the name, our guard name as a web. So here I have already created another one as admin. So when I access to the admin logging, I want to access another guard as a admin. right? So that is the simple things we have to do. So I hope it's very much clear to you. So that is our stateful one of the guard. So that is one of the interface, and that interface actually comes from to the guard, and that is the main guard. You can see that is our main handle guard. So that is all that default, all that file. So you don't need to worry about the default file. You can see the redirect to the route service to the home directory. Okay, right now it's totally fine. I have already checked it. Right now it's totally fine. Perfect. So now we have to from here we have to take some of the things. We have to need our attempt to authenticate. We need that our redirect two-factor authenticated for the admin. Okay, if you go to our providers, that is a default, as I told you before, into the providers area. When you install that Laravel Jetstream, that is one of the Fortify service provider, and into the Fortify service provider, that is one of the register method. Right now that is actually another file. If you search with again with the Control P, I want to search with the Fortify. Okay, Fortify, and that is a Fortify service provider. You see that is a two file. One is the app providers and the Fortify service providers. Another is the Fortify service providers comes from to the vendor Laravel, Fortify, SRC, and Fortify service provider. So in here that is actually another register. You can see that is the register actually by default working in here. So there are some other guard as a stateful guards. You can see that is a two-factor authenticated, the register response binding. So that is binding all the data is gated. Okay, so that is our default file. Now I want to do and to customize our default one. That means our main one that is in our app providers, and that is our Fortify service providers. Into the register area, first of all we have to add it. So how to do this work? Better I want to continue this process. In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully created all that our guards, right? I have created one of the new guards as a admin guards. Now I want to do and to access that admin guards, that is our authenticated session controller. From here, some of the file will be needed, like that is our redirect to factory, and then also another one, attempt to authenticate. So if you want to find out this file, if you search again with the P, if you search it attempt to authenticate, you can see that file is allocated into the vendor Laravel, Fortify, SRC action, and that is our attempt to authenticate.php. So first of all, I'm going to find out that file. If you want to find it, that will be, I better go to our project. So into the project, that is our vendor. You can see there is a vendor folder, and then we have to go here. We have to go to the Laravel Fortify. I want to go to that Laravel, and then the Fortify, and then that will be SRC, right? Laravel Fortify SRC actions, the SRC and the actions. Yeah, you can see now that is our attempt to authenticate, and also another file as a redirect to factor. Okay, so both of this file I simply copy it. I copy both of this file. I hope you get that file location. So that is in our vendor Laravel Fortify SRC actions. I copy both of these, and now in our main project, into the app, into the actions, into the Fortify, here I want to paste it. I simply paste both of this file in here. Now in our register, okay, into the register area I want to work. That means in our Fortify service provider, that is our register. So into the register area, first of all I want to simply want to access it. That will be this. Okay, that will be this, and then I want to access that app. App will be when. Okay, I use that as a when function. So into the when area, I want to get some of the file. I want to get our, first of all, our model that I have already created, not the model, our controller. So that is an admin controller, right? So I want to load this admin controller. I copy it. So in our Fortify, here we have to now work. Okay, so in particular that position, I want to access our admin controller. So that will be on the class. So that is our admin controller class. Here we have to load it, and also in our authenticated session controller here, as I told you, our attempt to authenticate, that will be needed. I copy it, and then in our Fortify, after that I want to load our another one as an attempt to authenticate. That will be as a class, and then also there is another one as a redirect to factor authenticable. I copy it. And then in our Fortify, I want to load another one as a redirect to factor authenticate class. Okay, sorry, class. So So I simply loaded everything in here, and after that that will be the needs. I want to needs both of these. I want to needs it in our which place. I want to needs it in our stateful guard. Okay, as I told you, that is one of the interface, and that have one of the interface as stateful guards. That is a logging and the view. You can see that is a stateful guards. I want to also take it. I copy it, and now in our 45 here into the needs area, I want to add that our stateful guard class. Okay, I simply loaded everything, and then I want to give that function. So then that will be another function as a give. So that is all the default one actually. That default all that function in Jetstream. So I will use that as a function, and our function name I want to allocate it. So here that will be written our which guard that I have already created. I want to allocate that our auth. Okay, that is a auth authenticated guard. That means which user is logging authenticated guard. Okay, guard authenticated guard I want to use which guard. I have already put that our guard name. If you go to our auth, into this auth I have already named that our guard name as a admin, right? Now that should be as a admin. Perfect. So here I simply take all the things in particular that position, and also here that will be a semicolon. I simply updated that part. Here I load that our admin controller. I load that authenticated attempt to authenticated redirect two-factor authenticable, and needs I make that our stateful guards and give the class function. So now here also we have to load everything. Like here I want to load it. Okay. So if you want to load it, like first of all I want to take it from our authenticated session controller. That is a stateful guard will be needed, because here I have already loaded that stateful guard. I paste it. We need that attempt to authenticate. I copy it. Then that will be another one, and also another redirect two-factor. I copy it, and then here I want to paste it. Perfect. And also we need that our controller name as a admin controller. So if you want to use it, so that will be the use in our which place, that is in our app /http /controller. Okay, that will be the controllers folder. Into this controllers folder, here I have created as a admins controller, right? If you go, you can see that is our app http controllers, and then I have created our admin controller. So now make that sure you have to update it, admin controller, and also I use that auth. Also you have to use it, so that will be use auth. Okay, I also want to access it or auth. That is on the default middleware. And now one thing, our stateful guard is perfect. That will be comes from particular that position, but in attempt to authenticate and redirect two-factor authenticate, I have already take both of this file in our actions 45. I have already added that things in here, and that is also another one. So this will be for the admin. By default, that will be comes from to the main one, that is a Laravel, which is allocated into the Laravel 45 actions. Right now I want to customize it. I want to add that another multi-authentication systems. So that is for our admin. For the admin, it should be allocate that things from here. Okay, so now we have to update that path. So that will be not in here. That is in which place? First of all, here we have to add that our app, and then /, right? That is the app / and then the actions folder. So that is the actions folder, and into this actions, that is our 45, right? So that is a 45. Right now that is the app actions and then the 45, and here I have already added that our redirect two-factor and also attempt to work. So that will be the same. Better I copy it, and then here I paste it, right? So that will be the app actions 45 attempt to authenticate redirectable, and then I loaded our controller. I loaded that auth, and that will be our stateful guard, because everything I have already used it in here. You can see there is a 1, 2, there is a 3, there is a 4, and there is also another one. Okay, perfect. So now we have to also update some of the files. So better I want to continue this process. Okay, I want to continue this process. In our next video, step by step, we'll complete that our multi-authentication system. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, in our 45 service providers, that means into the providers, that is a 45 service providers, in our register method, I have updated some of the things, and also I load that our controller, because that will be customized for our admin, right? And here I pass that our auth guard will be as an admin. Perfect. Now I want to work in our controller. I have already created one of the admin controller. As I told you, if you go to our route list, by default our logging is working for the authenticated session controller store method and also authenticated session controller as a create method, right? That is our authenticated session controller. Now I want to copy it because that will be for our default user. Now I copy it, and now in our admin controller area here, simply paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. Or rather than also you have to update the class. Better I want to make it click as a control Z. First of all, I want to take it in here. So now we have to update our namespace. Okay, right, we have to update that namespace. That will be a controller. I want to update that namespace, and also our controller name, class name will be as a admin controller, right? So that will be our controller name. And here now I want to remove it and make that sure there have no space. If you have any space, then that you will get some of the error. Okay, make that sure there have no space, which is totally fine. Now our admin controller, there is a guard, there is a constructor. I have already discussed about that things with you. There is a create method, there is a store method, right? So into the store, there is a logging response. Okay, so here right now they're using that attempt to authenticate and also redirect two-factor authenticable. Both of these file now actually access our default one. You can see both of these actually access our default one. There is a one, and also there is a one. So that is both of these access the default one. Now I want to access our Fortify. Here I have already take our attempt to authenticate and then redirect two-factor authenticable, right? So better I cart it. And here I want to paste it, and also I cart it. For your better understanding, I'm actually cutting it rather than you can also add the things in here. Right now it's totally fine. Now here our attempt to authenticate not will be access our default one. That will be access our, I have already take it into the Fortify folder. So that is in our app, right? So that will be the same process as the app. I want to update that name. That is app / and then the actions / and then the Fortify, and then that will be the attempt to authenticate. So that file will be accessible for the admin guard. Okay, and also the same for our redirect. I want to simply paste it. Perfect. So here I simply update both of these. Okay, friend. Also, one things you have to understand by our, because I will actually copy everything from our default one, right? So into the default one, in our authenticated session controller here, we get it from to the default position, right? That is authenticated session controller. That is our store method. So into the store method here, you can see that is one of the logging response. So if you copy it, I want to first of all show you with the Control P. I want to search it as a logging response. So into the logging response, you can see there is a comes from to the vendor folder, Laravel, Fortify, SRC, HTTP responses, and that is a logging responses. So into the logging responses, you can see it's now redirect to the Fortify, redirect to the logging. Right now I want to redirect to the another page. For our admin, I want to do this work. For doing this right now, I want to go again our admin controller, because all that our authenticated session I have copied. Now I have added it in our admin controller, right? So to the admin controller, you can see that is the same as a logging response. So I want to create one of the new response. So if you want to create it in our app, and then there is our HTTP. Here I want to create one of the new folder. Okay, I simply create on the new folder, and I just create another new response. So I make it as a responses. Okay, I created one of the new folder as a responses. So this type of one of the folder I simply created, and here I want to create the same name. Okay, you can create the different name. Right now I name, you use the same name, click as a save as, and now I want to create another file as a logging. Okay, logging response. Logging response .php. So this type of one of the file I simply created. Okay, there is a logging response.php. I want to copy everything from here that I have already checked it. There is a logging default one I want to take. Again, I want to go there. It's not suggested in here. Better again search it with the logging response. That will be the our vendor. Okay, vendor Laravel Fortify logging response.php. Here I want to search it. Now you can see there is a logging. Better I copy everything from here. I copy everything, Now I have created as a 40, that is a logging response. Here I paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. So everything will be just like that same. Okay, everything will be just like them same, only for the admin that will be redirect to the intent 45 redirect. We don't need this. I only want to do directly, I want to access it. Okay, here I want to direct access our admin / dashboard. Okay, dashboard, this type of another route. Here I want to access. Okay, so I will also create that type of another route in our web route PHP. Okay, so here we'll create it. So I hope it's very much clear to you. So that is our authenticated, that is a logging section, is by default working for our user. Now I have take everything in our admin controller, so that is also a store method. Now we are access our logging response. So for the logging response, now that will be redirect to the admin dashboard. Right, so now we have to also access it. If you want to access it, that means we have to use it. I want to use that is in our which place, that is in our app, right? App / and then the HTTP, and then / and then the response, right? That is, I have named that folder name as a responses, so that will be as a response. Okay, that is our responses folder, and into the responses folder I name it, our name will be as a logging response. Right, now I simply loaded that logging response. Right now for our admin, it's using our which function, it's now using our app as a logging response. Right, so that is a logging response I have already loaded in here, and that will be for our admin. It will redirect to the admin dashboard. Great, I hope friend every part is very much clear to you. So now we have to create some of the route. Okay, we have to create some of the route. Now go to our web. So this one is for the default one. Better I want to make it into the same line. I better take it. There is the config section, and then there is a verified. Okay, that will be the verified, and then the group. Perfect, and that will be for the user. When it will be done, that will be returned direct to the / dashboard. Right, also now we have to add another one, because in particular that position I name it as a admin dashboard. Right, so here better I want to do that is also using another middleware, so I better copy it, and now I want to paste it. So for the admin I want to create another middleware. Okay, I will create this middleware later. Right now I name it as a admin. So that will be, I want to create another new middleware as a admin middleware. That the config Jetstream will be just like that same. It will be when everything will be done, admin will be logging, then that will be redirect to the admin dashboard. Okay, I make it as a admin dashboard. So then that will be returned direct to the admin dashboard, because here into the logging response I name it as a admin dashboard. Right, I hope it's very much clear to you what exactly the things we have to do. And right now for both of these pages I'm using the same dashboard. Okay, if you want to change it, you can actually change it. Literally for the project we will change it. So that is another view dashboard I want to use for our user and also for the admin. I have already discussed about that things with you. There is a resources, view, and one of the default dashboard. You can see there is a dashboard. So for the user I use that same dashboard, and for the admin I also want to access that same dashboard. Great. And now I want to create two of this method. Like here I want to use that route. Okay, I want to use that route, and also I want to load on the middleware. As I told you, I will create one of the middleware as an admin. So for the reasons I want to load on the group middleware. Okay, so that will be one of the middleware. I want to name it as an admin. Into this admin area I want to access that our admin middleware, and I want to load on the group. That will be the group, and with the group area that will be on the function. Okay, that will be on the function I want to access it. So if I want to access, I want to load on the route. Okay, that will be the route, and then that will be on the get method. I want to create on the URL that will be as a admin. That will be as a admin / logging. Okay, that will be as a admin logging, because as I told you, when you access that as a only logging, but I refresh it, when you access that logging, that will be loaded one file, and also for our admin, when you want to access it, that will be loaded another or same logging file. Okay, here we have to allocate it. Now that is our admin logging. Here I want to access our controller. I want to access our admin controller. So if you want to access this admin controller, here also you have to support it. I copy it. Now I want to use it. Okay, so that will be use our app HTTP controllers / our controller name as a admin controller. Okay, here you have to add it. Now we are able to access our admin controller. I copy it. Now that will be the admin controller class. Okay, that is the admin controller class, and here I want to create our method. I want to create another logging form. Okay, logging form. So that will be one of the method now I want to create. Okay, so here I want to create this type of the method, and also for store this data I copy it and I paste it. So that will be another one as a post method. Okay, that will be as a post method, and for the post our URL will be same as a logging, because if you go to our default one, into the default you can see there is one of the get method as a logging, another post method as a logging. So for the logging it's using the create method, and also for the post logging it's actually using that store, right, store method. So now I want to do the same things. For the reasons our URL will be as a admin logging and admin logging. Here also one of the comma, right, that will be on the comma, and also that will be on the comma. Great. And now in our admin controller I want to create another new method as a logging form, and also another one by default there have another one as a store, right. I want to access that store. There is a store, and here I want to use that on name route. So by default there is a name route. I want to access that name. Okay, I want to access that name route. That will be as a admin logging. Okay, I use that as admin logging. Great. So now we have to create our logging form and then store method. Okay, better I want to continue this process. I want to make this video in short as possible, because that is little bit complicated, but I am trying to explain everything one by one, and also for our every video I push this code to the GitHub, so I think they have no issues. Okay, so I want to continue this process. In our next video we'll create our method, that is a logging form method. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully updated our routes, right? So that is for the user, and now I copy everything, and that will be for our admin. And for the admin I have created another common middleware as a admin. I didn't create this middleware, so I will create it. First of all I want to load our admin logging, add in our admin controller. Now I want to create another method as a admin form. I copy it. Now go to our admin logging, and that is our create, that is our main guard. Okay, after this guard here I want to create another new function that will be public function, and our method name will be as a logging form. So into the logging form, what exactly you have to do? I simply want to access the same logging page. So that is our default logging page. I have already discussed about that things with you. You will get it into the view, into the auth, and that is our default page, right? That is a logging page. Now I want to load this page. So if you want to load it in our logging form area, here I want to simply return on the view page. That will be the return view, right? Return view, our folder name as a view, that is a auth, and then there is a logging. So I want to simply access it. That will be as a auth. There is a auth folder. Into this auth folder I want to access that logging. Okay, and here also I want to pass our guard. I want to access that guard that I have already created, so that will be as a guard, and our guard name I want to pass it as a admin. Okay, so that will be as a admin guard. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. And for the another store, that is another method I have already declared as store method. And in our admin controller, if you go into the admin controller, that is our store method. So into the store method, you can see there is a logging response. So I have already created one of the logging response, that is in our HTTP responses folder and logging response. So into the logging response, when everything will be done, it will be return redirect to the admin dashboard. Right, it will be automatically redirect to the admin dashboard, and in our web, into the web I have already added that /admin dashboard. It will be returned on the view page as a dashboard page. Okay friend, I hope step by step everything is very much clear to you. So right now I pass that guard as an admin. Here I'm using the same page, right? Our auth and logging page. So that is our logging page. Now into the logging page area, that is on the form. Here now we have to make it as a dynamic, because that will be accessible for the both of this page. That will be accessible for the default user. That will be also accessible for the admin user. For the reasons I want to put one of the condition. Okay, here I want to I cut it and I paste it because that will be needed. I want to put on the condition is set. Okay, with this is set, is set. With this is set, I want to pass our guard. Okay, I have already passed that guard, so that I take variable as a guard, so that will be our guard. So into the guard, if there have any guard, okay, then I want to access that our URL. Our URL will be which one? Our URL will be our guard name. That if this as a admin, so that will be our guard, right? So I make it as a guard, ARD guard. So guard, and then concatenation. I want to pass it in /logging. Okay, that means then that will be as a admin /logging. Okay, if they have different guard, that will be get that our guard name, and then that will be as a /logging. And else, okay, after that I want to use that as else it should be our default one. Our default one as a route, as a logging. So now else it should be our default one. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. So is set if there have any guard, then our URL will be our guard name. That means if there have any dynamic name as admin, so now that will be as a admin /logging will be executed, and else it will be executed our route default one as a logging, and then CSRF token will be needed. Rest of this will be just like that same. Okay, here we successfully updated that part. Great. Now we need to create our, here we don't need to do anything. I close it. And also if you go to our web, I have already named that one of the middleware, right, as an admin middleware. So now I want to create this middleware. So if you want to create it, you can create it by the command line rather than I want to create it directly. So that will be as a redirect authenticate, right? So that will be the redirect authenticate for the default one. Now better I want to rename it. I copy it, and now if you go to our middleware, into the middleware I want to create another new file, and I just click as a save as and name it as a admin redirect. Okay, admin then redirect authenticated.php. So this type of one of the middleware I want to create. I simply click as a save. Now that should be added. Okay, you can see that is added. Perfect. So now from our redirect authenticate, okay, that will be just like that same. There is a redirect authenticate. I want to copy everything. Okay, I copy everything from our redirect authenticate, and now in our admin redirect authenticate, here I paste it. Okay, so now only we have to change that our name. Now our name is as admin, right? Admin redirect authenticated, which is totally fine, and that is our guard. Now our guard should be updated. Into the guard, that will be as a return redirect as a route service provider as a home. Route service provider home means if you go to our route service provider, you can see home will be as a /dashboard, right? So that is our /dashboard as a route service provider, and that is in our providers area, and you can see there is a route service provider. That is our default one. Now I want to change it here right now in our admin redirect authenticated. Here that will be not this. I want to pass it our guard. So that will be as a guard. Okay, so that is our actually guard. I want to access that guard, and I concatenation with our which one, that will be as a admin /dashboard, right? So I make it as a dashboard. So that means when everything will be success, then that will be returned redirect to the guard. Our guard will be right now I created that guard name as an admin, so that will be as admin /dashboard. It will be returned redirect if admin is successfully logging. When I run it, everything will be more clear to you. So here it should be returned redirect to particular that page. Great. I updated this part, which is totally fine. Now we have to added our middleware. So there is a middleware, and I have already created that middleware. When you create any middleware, we have to register it. We have to register it into the kernel. Okay, into the kernel.php, and that is our route protector. You can see now I want to allocate it that part, and that is better. I copy it. Okay, copy it, and then I paste it. So now I name it as a admin, because I have already used it as an admin. So that is in our app http middleware, and our middleware name I name it as a admin redirect authenticated, right? So then that will be as a admin redirect authenticated class. When you create any middleware, make that sure here you have to access it. Right now we are able to access our admin, which I have already used it in our middleware. That will be as an admin. I have loaded our group middleware as an admin. Great. So now friend, let's check this out. If everything okay, it should be work. If we get any error, we'll solve it. Now click as a save all. I hope every concept is very much clear to you. Now if you go to our page, I want to first of all go to our home page, click as a enter. We successfully get one of the error as a syntax error, unexpected identifier route, right? We get it in the middleware. That means in our web.php there have some of the issues. So you can see I didn't use that as a semicolon, so there should be one of the semicolon. Now click as a save all. Now I want to refresh it again. Yeah, it's successfully done. So now first of all I want to check that our logging page, yeah, our logging page is successfully loaded. And also now if you want to access our admin logging, click as a enter. Now it's getting one of the error as it cannot use app logging response as logging response because the name is already in use. So that is in our admin controller. Here I have created one of the new one as a add logging use. You can see by default there is also another one. So here also you have to remove it, right? Now if you go to our admin controller, so that is practically things should be, you can see there is the same things. Now I am actually using that app HTTP response that I have already created. Right now we don't need that our default one. I simply remove that our default one. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Now if you go, I refresh it. Now there is another error as a middleware auth session guard does not exist. So they have another issue. So don't worry, we'll better have to continue this process. In our next video, we'll solve these issues. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, when we access our admin logging, we get some of the error message. So it's meaning as a method, a session guard does not exist. I hope you already get that point. That is one of the spelling mistake as a guard. You can see I use that as a Z-U-R-A-D. So that will be the Z-U-A-R-D. So here we have already added, if you go to our web route, so that is our admin logging. In our admin controller, that is a logging form. If you go to our admin controller, there is a logging form, there is a auth logging. I use that as a guard, as an admin guard, right? And if you go to our session, I have already added in our providers. If you go to that Fortify service provider, you can see that is our spelling mistake. So that will be as a guard, right? Z-U-A-R-D. All right. So that will be obviously on the guard, and our guard name, I name it as an admin. Now let's check this out. If you click as a save all, now that should be loaded. Click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see it's now successfully loaded. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. Right now we are able to access our admin logging, and also if you want to access that logging page only, click as enter. Yeah, our logging page is successfully loaded. So both of this place I have loaded which page? Both of this area I have loaded the same page. If you go to our admin controller, you can see I have used that auth and then the logging. Right now the same things. Now I want to do the logging with our admin logging. If you click as enter, right now there is another logging page is loaded, and for the admin I have already seen some of the data as admin@gmail.com and password was password. Right now I want to access it as a admin@gmail.com and password as a password PASSWORD. Click as enter. Now there is another error as a app if actions 45 redirect to factor authenticatable does not exist. I understand what exactly the mistake I have done. It means if you go in our admin logging, into this admin logging, I have already used, you can see there is app for actions 45 attempt to authenticated, the redirect to factor authenticated, and also the logging response. If you want to access it, that is in our app actions and the 45. If you go to app actions 45 attempt to, you can see that namespace we have to update. So they are actually using that default namespace, right? So now we have to update that. It will be the app and then the actions folder, and then that will be the 45. Here I want to update that will be the app and then backslash and then the actions backslash 45. Right? So now that is our appropriate namespace. Also same things we have to update for our 45. Here I have already added another file as a redirect to factor, right? You can see there is the same things. We will get another error for this. Now I want to update as a namespace as a app actions 45, which is totally fine. And also want to check out another file as a logging response. If you want to access our logging response, that is our app HTTP response. here I have created as a logging response. You can see that is also using that same our default namespace. So now that should be also changed. Now that should be in our which place, that is in our app, because which file will be loaded, right? Here we have to add it. So that is app and then the HTTP, and here I have created one of the folder name as a responses, right? So that will be the responses. Perfect. Now that should be okay. So make that sure you updated that namespace in our logging response, and then here also I later load that our attempt and then redirect. I have updated both of these. Perfect. Now let's check this out. Now that should be work. Now click as a save all. I want to check it. Click as a refresh. Okay, click as a continue. And now you can see you are successfully logged in. Okay, now I am successfully logging in our which route. You can see now it's redirected to the admin dashboard. Okay, into the admin dashboard. I have already right now want to better minimize some of the file. You can see in our logging response, because in our admin controller I have loaded our logging response. So into the logging response, here I have loaded that admin dashboard. It will be returned redirect when everything will be done. It's successfully done. It will be redirected to the admin dashboard. Now you can see it's now successfully redirected to the admin dashboard. So into the admin dashboard, I am using the same dashboard because of all. If you go to our web route, right now I close it. I better minimize some of the file from to this position. The logging response 45. They have some of the spelling mistake before I have done. Now close it, and close it. Okay. Now into the web, when you access that admin logging, when everything will be done, then it's going to see I have already created that our route name will be /admin. And it will be written on the view page as a dashboard. That is a default dashboard. So if you want to load the different type of template, you can simply load it in here. Right now you can see it is the same page. And also right now I'm logging with the name. Here you can see that is a name. I name it as a admin. So now it's successfully display the admin, because I have already discussed about that things with you in our dashboard. Into the dashboard page, when an user will be logging, if you go to our dashboard, when it will be logging, I use that authenticated user name. That means which user is logging this username. Okay, so now you can see it's now successfully display. Now I want to do to check our from here that profile will be not work because I didn't work anything in particular that positions. Later we will actually customize everything. Just our important things are route. Okay, here we successfully done this job. Click as a logout. I want to access our user. If you go to our logging, so that will be our user. So you do the user. If you for the user, I have already created as a user@gmail.com and password udemy12345. Right now, if you click as a login, yes, you can see right now I am successfully logging with the user. Great. So from here, if you click as a logout, successfully log out. If you want to access our login, that means admin logging. Successfully loaded our admin logging. If you pass that as user and put in appropriate password, click as a login. Yeah, you can see our credential is successfully working. So now I want to update our admin and password as a password. Click as a enter. Yeah, right now we are successfully logging with the admin. Our multi-authentication is successfully working, friend. How that things exactly work, I hope everything is very much clear to you. It's successfully done. Logging with the user. I want to logging with the another user. As a user, right now I have only one user. Udemy12345. Login. Successfully logging. Great. Great. So our multi-authentication is successfully done. I hope, friend, it's very much clear to you. So that is the simple step-by-step process you have to done. When it will be a user, then that will be returned directly to the dashboard, and that is will be as a /dashboard rather than that will be as a /admin dashboard, right? Great. So here we successfully done this job. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hello, friend. Welcome back. In our previous video here, we are successfully able to complete our multi-authentication system, but they have some of the bugs I noticed. Now in this video I want to solve it. Bugs is very simple. Right now I am successfully logging with the user. When you successfully logging with the user, it should be accessible for our /dashboard, right? Which is totally fine. Now I want to click as a logout. Okay, logout. I want to log in with the admin. So when you logging with the admin logging, if you put appropriate email address as admin@gmail.com and password was password. Okay, password. Now click as a login. Now you can see you're successfully logging. So when you successfully logging with the admin, then it's return redirect to our admin dashboard. But right now, if you want to access our dashboard, okay, if you want to access directly our user dashboard from to the admin, now click as enter. Now you can see you are not able to access it. It will be return redirect to the login page, which is totally fine. Right now, if you go to that admin dashboard, which is totally fine. Now I want to access it, our URL as an admin dashboard with logging the user. If you now click a copy, I click as a logout, and now I want to login with the user as a user @gmail.com, password Udemy 2345. Now click as a login. Right now I'm successfully logging with the dashboard. Now if you want to access our URL as admin/dashboard, now click as a enter. Now you can see you are able to access our admin dashboard. Our data is the same, but you are able to access that URL, right? So now I want to protect it. So for protect it, I have already created one of the middleware. Remember, I have already created one of the middleware. In our middleware, there is the admin redirect authenticated. It will be redirect to the guard and then dashboard, right? So I have already created that middleware and I named that middleware in our kernel. Into the kernel, I name it by the name as a admin, right? So now I want to actually simply apply it. I want to call that middleware for our admin dashboard, right? So into this admin dashboard, after that name, I want to call this middleware. I simply loaded that middleware name. So here that will be as auth, and then that will be as a admin. Okay, I want to call our middleware authenticated. Admin will be only able to access it. Okay, so now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, right now I'm logging with the user, right? If you refresh it, I'm logging with the user. Now I want to access our admin dashboard. If you want to access it, that is our admin/dashboard. Now click as a enter. Yes, you can see you are not able to access our admin dashboard. It's automatically redirect to your main dashboard area. Click as a enter. Yeah, it's successfully redirect to the dashboard. Okay, how to protect this URL with using that middleware? I hope it's very much clear to you. Simple, run that middleware. Okay, now I want to check it again. Click as a logout, logging credential here. If you pass that admin username, admin password. Now logging, yeah, perfectly, it's not working. Here if you want to access that user, you have to use that as a user @gmail.com and password as a Udemy 12345. Now login, successfully logged in by the user, log out, successfully log out. I want to log in with the admin logging. I want to log in here. If you pass that as a user details as a Udemy 12345. Logging, yeah, you are not able to log in. Here you have to use that admin email address and password. Now login, successfully logging by the admin. Our total multi-authentication system is successfully working. Okay friends, so now if you want to add another one, procedure will be just like that same. You can add that another sailor as per your demand. Now if you log out, if you register on the new user, for the admin registration, we will develop it. That means we will customize it as per our demand. For now, our user register is available. I want to use another one as a Kazi @gmail.com and password Udemy 12345, and I make it as Udemy 12345. Okay, now let's check this out. Our registration is working or not. Yeah, registration is successfully working, which is totally fine. Click as a logout. I want to log in again with the Kazi @gmail.com, and then Udemy 12345. Successfully logging. Yeah, you can see it's now displays a hi Kazi. And now if you want to access our admin logging, okay, that will be the admin, and then admin logging. So that is our admin logging. Here if you pass that as a admin @gmail.com and password. Now click as a login. Yeah, successfully logging. I hope friend every part is very much clear to you. Here we successfully complete our total multi-authentication system with using the Jetstream in Laravel 9. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.